Steps involved in getting a mining start. Welcome to Australian Mining for New Starters, and today I just wanted to do a short video on how you should research and go through and look to try and get yourself your mining start. So the first thing that you've got to do is you've got to work out where the new starter mining jobs are. With my knowledge, I'm going to research Hardrock Underground truck driving roles because I know there are definitely lots of them all over the country. You could also look at offsiding roles or nipper roles, or if you wanted to have a look at the surface, you could look at surface offsiding, or you could look at surface dump truck driving in one of the open pits. But for this video, I'm going to research on Hardrock Underground truck driver because that's where I know the majority of the new starter jobs are. Now you've decided where you're going to research, then you can go over to Seek and you can type underground in and you can see all the jobs come up. And one of the best things that I reckon you should do is have a look at what requirements they want. And this is a good one. This is entry level from KCA. And KCA have got a deal with the sponsor that they'll look at anybody that's done the sponsor's training, especially for jobs around Kalgoorlie. And if you go through, they'll give you a brief outline of what you're going to be doing, assisting the jumbo operator as a nipper, and you come down to their essential requirements. You must have the right to work in Australia because they can only hire citizens and permanent residents. You've got to have a valid manual driver's license. They want a one-day working at height certificate and that you've done a first aids course. And in all that, you won't see any R2 tickets. So if you go back and have a look at the other mining jobs, so the other truck driving jobs that are around that aren't entry level, there's Northern Star looking for the same thing as KCA are looking. And you go through and hopefully we'll find an underground truck operating role. There's one. It's only come up 5 hours ago. It's for a labour hire company. And what do they want? They just want the same thing that KCA wanted, with manual driver's license, working at heights, police clearance. They don't want an R2 dump truck driving ticket, so that's a complete waste of money. All right, so you don't want to do that. So now that you've done your research and you've looked into what you want to do, you can also type tickets into Hardrock Mining into Google and you'll see a few things come up. And you can have a look at, this isn't a bad article that got written not too long ago, and it gives you the 15 things that every new starter needs to know. If the link will click through, you can have a look through, and I can't remember which one tickets were. Yeah, number 4. There's no national system in Hardrock Mining. They're non-transferable tickets. And that's why there's no TAFE courses available. So how are you going to prep yourself if there's no TAFE courses available or anything like that? Well, that's why the sponsor wrote this training back in the day. And it teaches you everything about how the Hardrock Underground mine works and what you're going to have to do in that mine. It has a full section on truck operation. And if we click on that, it'll open a PDF with an outline of what you're going to learn in the training. I've done videos that have opened up into the training before and had a look at it if you want to go back and have a look at one of those videos. But for today's video, we'll just have a look at what at the different modules, and it's like how to operate the articulated underground truck. So they're articulated underground, they're a bit different, so it gives you all the information that we'd give to somebody or that they'd give to somebody before you jumped in the truck and started driving around on the surface, and then before you took it underground. The reason that this training is available and it's so detailed is for many years, and still to this day, some of the the manufacturers of the underground trucks, they don't put dicky seats in the truck, so it's a single seat, so you have to drive down there by yourself. And you know, when you do that, you normally jump in the truck and drive around on the surface for a little while until you get comfortable, and then when you take it down the hole, you're going down in first gear, and in first gear you can literally jump out and walk faster. And then as you get more comfortable over the coming days, you just slowly increase your speed until hopefully within a week or 5 days to a week that you're up to the same speed speed as everybody else. And that's what it's all about, trying to find your feet as quickly as possible. So this deals with, you know, getting the load, what you have to worry about with the bogger operators, loading bays, loading the trucks, you know, things that can go wrong, things to watch out for, all that sort of stuff is all in there. How to get in and out really quickly, all that relevant information that'll make the job a lot easier is all in there for you to review. Now, if you want to have a someone to help you do your resume, then have a look at the W1N package or the Workready package. They redo your resume in the W1N, and they supply interview prep, and they do the same sort of thing in the Workready. With the Workready, you get a ticketed WA shift boss to give you a hand to try and help you along the way. Now, where should you target looking? For me, if I was in the eastern states, if I was in Queensland and wanted to stay in Queensland, I'd head up to Mount Isa way, or have a look for a fly and fly out of Mount Isa or Charters Towers. They're doing a lot of fly and fly out of Townsville at the moment. For some reason, the planes seem to be full down to Brisbane, so they're trying to shift a lot of the fly and fly out workers up to Townsville way. In New South Wales, all the live-in jobs around the centre of the state, the Arcadia, the big gold mine, there's a number of big gold mines around Parks and Orange and Cowral, and even there's a couple around Canberra, on either side of Canberra. So have a look at those gold mines there, and then there's the big copper mines out Cobar way, and out the base metal mines out Broken Hill way. And if you want to, on the 5th of February, pack yourself up and head over to WA. I still think we'll be opening up over here at that stage, and head to Kalgoorlie, and there's just so much work around Kalgoorlie, it's not funny. But they're looking for people that know which way's up and, you know, have prepared themselves. And as long as you can say that you've done that, you're in with a really good chance of getting in. Once you've done all that and you've prepared yourself and you've got your plan, then you just come back to the jobs, and you keep apply. No matter how much experience the job asks for, apply for it. Any of the nipper, truck, or offsider, or even service crew roles, I'd be throwing my resume into, and just keep doing it. This is programmed in for all the jobs at the moment, but I'd have a look through first when you first started all the jobs, and then I like to bring it down to either the last 3 days or the last day, and then that way you can have a quick look and keep on top of it every day. And it's all about just keeping on top of it, and sending into all the relevant jobs that come up every single day. So they're looking for experienced truck operators, FIFO, but that'll be more of a wish than anything else. That could be a good one to apply for straight away. And again, that's only just come up 5 minutes ago, so, you know, first in best dress can be sometimes really good. And so I just, you know, keep applying every day. Set yourself aside 10-15 minutes at a certain time every day just to jump online and go through the hoops of having to apply for each job that comes up. And the other thing too is that the HR departments on some of these big mining companies, big underground mining companies, aren't, you know, they do individual mine sites, so each HR person is responsible for one mine site instead of, you know, everybody talking to everybody else. That's not really, you know, not something that's done on the hard rock side of things. So each job that comes up, assume it's for a different mine and a different HR person, even if it is for the same company. Don't assume just because you've sent your resume in to one of the big companies that it's going to go everywhere. So that's another tip to have a look at. But yeah, you just to keep applying, and then follow up. You know, make sure you give them a call and find out, you know, what's happening and what's going on, and if they got your resume all right and all that sort of stuff. You don't want to hound them, but you've got to do the appropriate levels of follow-up. And, you know, and like I said, don't give up. Just keep doing it every single day. And, you know, as long as you've prepared yourself properly and you've got something to offer them, like the training on your resume, you'll get interviews, and then it's just a matter of working your way through the interviews until you score yourself a job. And people ask me, should I take the first job that I get? Yes. You know, in my experience, sometimes people that knock back a job that they get sometimes struggle to get another offer. I've had a few people that have done training before, and they've knocked back the first couple of jobs that they got offered because they thought that they were going to get a better one, and a better one never happened. And, you know, they just got left high and dry, unfortunately. You know, my advice is, if you get offered something, take it. make sure you gut out the first 6 months, and then you can move on to wherever you want to go. But the important thing is to gut out that first 6 months. So I hope you found that information helpful, and they're the steps that I would take in hunting down a Hardrock Underground truck job. Remember that, you know, just about every mine in the country is having to hire new starters for these roles, because while every employer wants experienced people, it's a physical thing that there just aren't that many people are out there, and the people that have got truck driving experience or nippering experience, that have got, you know, 12 months experience doing stuff like that, don't necessarily want to go onto another mine site doing the same job. They want the next rung in the ladder, which is service crew, and there's lots of service crew jobs going at the moment. So that's why employers are chasing their tail in Hardrock Underground, and that's why I reckon it's the best place to try and get your start right here, right now. Yeah, if you want to muck around with iron ore and coal, I mean, yeah, there are jobs, but there's only a handful of them, and they're all traineeships. And whenever I hear traineeship, I sort of hear, you know, in my experience, it's been a low hourly rate on a 2-in-1 roster. So they end up paying you $75,000 or $80,000 a year on 2-in-1, which sort of works out to be 22 or 23 bucks an hour, and they call it a traineeship. Where do you go after that? There's not that many jobs around, you know, going on the surface these days, especially for new starters, and there aren't going to be that many going in the future, unfortunately, because the way the driverless trucks are affecting the strip mines in the coal industry and the iron ore industry. There's a lot of experienced surface operators around, and yeah, it's one of those industries that's highly competitive with a lot of experienced people to choose from. That's why they're able to offer the traineeships. Whereas with Hardrock Underground, as soon as you prove yourself, I'm in some of the videos that I've done in the past, we're talking about how people that have only been in the job sort of 3 to 6 weeks are actually training other people up. And that's one of the things about Hardrock Underground. Once you know what you're doing and they're happy that you know what you're doing, then they'll pay you the full wage. You know, there's no having to wait around 12 months. Whereas with the traineeships that happen on the surface, unfortunately, you end up getting paid for 12 months. You end up doing 12 months, and you've probably been fully trained for 10 of those months, so they're getting a cheaper rate, and you're probably running around on, you know, 2/3 or even half of what everybody else is getting paid. And yeah, that's one of the nasty things about those traineeships. But I digress, and this was all about trying to find a Hardrock Underground truck driving job. So I hope I've showed you how to do that. Like I said, if you know how the mine works and can show the employer that you know what you're getting yourself into, then you've genuinely got yourself something yeah, to offer them. Because, you know, teaching people how to drive the equipment, that's the easy bit. Teaching people enough so you can leave them alone to get on with the job by themselves, that's the hard bit, and that's the standard that everybody wants. And that's what the sponsors training was written to try and help you achieve in a short amount of time. So, like I said, I hope that information helps, and if you've got any more questions about trying to get into the mining industry, please send them through. And if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel, that would be wonderful. Thanks.